Great to be here. All right. So, I was playing around with this guy yesterday, and I think I'm on a good path now because I kind of figured out what we need to do with the geometry nodes editor, and I think what my biggest sticking point was how I was simulating the thing. So rather than simulating it, it's actually a lot easier, and it's the geometry nodes was actually working really well. So the way it works is pretty much unchanged from what we had yesterday, with a few small additions, or not additions, just manipulations to see how it all works. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining. Um, Switching over to the multi-stream to see if anyone says hello there as well. Hello, good morning. Um, but yeah, pretty straightforward, I guess you can say. So yeah, geometry input, catch your attribute. The attribute's going to be the normal, and in this case, I'm doing it on the points. And in order to get the sort of scale effect, I'm actually adding a decimate modifier, which basically subdivides it, but in like a cross section. So if you look at the way the decimate looks with wireframe, you can see when you decimate it one level or on every odd level, it actually like sort of changes the direction of the subdivision, which is just what we want because we want to have that sort of staggered effect to get the scales to work the way we want. So it's pretty effective, and I reckon, yeah, it just works well. So I have that turned on, and then I get this effect. Now the direction of the normals is aligned to Z. Now if I go ahead and create a mesh, and I apply the rotation and subdivide that a few times, and then I add the same geometry. This is the awesome thing about geometry nodes, by the way, is that I can just literally copy that geometry nodes setup to this object and it works. So if I go like this, and go Control C, copy modifiers. Oops, let's go the other way around. Copy selected modifiers, geometry nodes. It basically works, which is really cool. And if I do the let's subdivide that a few times on top, and you get this effect. Good morning. Thank you for joining Sketchy Squirrel. So look at what we got here. It's really cool. And if we add a decimate on top of that with unsubdivide turned on and do it just one level, we get this effect, which is really sweet. If I scale that down a little bit, we got ourselves some scale armor. How cool is that? Super cool. And you can see here that I can always manipulate the angle. So let's just bring this over here to show you what I mean. This is what the scale is being sourced as. If I go to edit mode and rotate that, we get this effect. Which is really cool. And if I want to change the way that the order, like the length of the thing, also, I might want to have to do this as well to get this to be a bit more effective. There we go. That's what we need. How nice is that? And if I want to change the pivot point, it will also affect the origins. So it should change the way that the order of it goes. So I can have it a bit more like hidden away. You can see how it's like sliding down the mesh there. Now, eventually what I would do if I was to animate this, good morning. What I would do if I was to animate this, I'd probably have to sort of set these in stone, as in like apply the geometry modifier. Thanks for joining, Gabrielle. Thanks for the follow. Hello, Ariolo's time. Uriolios, I guess you could say. But yes, that's how it all works. So yeah, basically, instead of using simulation to do the cloth, I'm just going to model it. And then as long as it's like this, it should be fine. Now, the only disadvantage here is that it only works in one direction. So if I go ahead and duplicate this and rotate this 180 degrees and then apply the rotation, the mesh will screw up. But as long as the rotation isn't applied, it works, which is good enough for me for this little concept piece. So yeah, really cool stuff. So what I'm going to do is quickly do the little kilt, I guess you could say. And I'm going to do it in 2 slices. And so it's going to be almost like a flap on each side. So what I can do here is just bring this over here. And I'm going to go ahead and scale that up a little bit, maybe. Scale it up a little bit, apply the scale. Oops. Scale that up. And that will do for me. And I might go into edit mode. Let's turn off the geometry nodes just for now. And I'm just going to make a few more additions. Now the scale of the duplicated pieces aren't affected by the size of your quads. Oh, thanks, dude. Hey, if anyone's feeling generous, feel free to drop $1 or so. I need a coffee. So yeah, I'm gonna grab this over here. And now what I'm gonna do is just see how it all looks. I think that's enough to get across the line. So what I'm gonna do is pop back in and start to just sort of manipulate this to work this way. Now this could also work with a mirror modifier, so I can actually just go ahead and delete that and then mirror modifier that. Put it at the top. There we go. Oh, thank you. Appreciate the wait. Yeah, always at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time from now on. All right, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this now. And with soft select, I'm going to try and get this to work like this, like a little kilt. I think that will work quite well. There we go. Professional and human. Is this to do with sculpting? Why is it hard to sculpt? Because you might be overcomplicating it in terms of like looking for an outcome that is a little bit more overcomplicated, or you're watching a professional do it, and they have these little shortcuts that people do they do, and they don't really talk about. They don't actually forget to mention what they do sometimes. So that could be that, or yeah, just the mesh that you're trying to create for the first time is just too complex, and you should maybe start with something a bit more simpler. All right, cool. Let's try and put that back together. Whoopsie. There we go. And now let's check it out. Oh, that looks so cool. Now you can see here that the scales do start to rotate along the side there. Now, if I was to fix that, how much would you put a 50-piece Greeble setup for a spaceship? As in, how much would I pay for? How much would I put as a price? I think I've seen a few of them. They're like 35, 40 bucks. Some are up to $100. So it really depends on the quality. So what I might do here, instead of having it wrap around, I'm going to do it in chunks. So I'll do one chunk. Yeah, I'd say, yeah, 100 piece or 50 piece. You could probably go with it up to 50 bucks, I reckon, at least. I don't know. what I would say is go onto ArtStation and look at similar packs and see what they're charging, and try and do something that's competitive, or like give yourself a value proposition, like put a value proposition that makes it more appealing to use yours, even though it may be a bit more expensive. I'm gonna duplicate that. So let's do it in chunks, which kind of works out actually. There we go. Actually, I think this looks pretty good in chunks. Yeah, that could work. And the cool thing is I can actually just bring the scale down a little bit. Now, again, what I would normally do, I would probably end up having to apply these shapes and sort of fix them up. In Blender, taking shot film is possible. In Blender, taking shot film is possible. What's your opinion? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Why is so Nick Berkeley also asked, why is every second good 3D artist Australian, especially YouTubers? Probably because we got nothing better to do. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I got a little trick here. I'm gonna go ahead and go to empty. I'm gonna create an empty and place it in the middle. I'm gonna add a mirror modifier on top of this again, but this time on with a mirror object being down here. Does it work? Will it work? I'm not sure. Nah, it won't work because there's rotations. No, that won't work. That's unfortunate. Should work though. Maybe it's because geometry nodes based. It's overriding it. It doesn't matter. Let's just duplicate that, place it this way, rotate 180. And there we go. Cool. I'm gonna put that a little bit like that. It doesn't have to be perfect anyway. And also, yes, if that's the question about whether or not it's possible to make a short film, it's definitely possible. Like, I definitely recommend trying to do it in Blender, to be honest, over something else, because it just is so accessible. All right, 1, 2, 3, duplicate that. Now, I have been looking into whether or not to do vertex instances, or sorry, mesh instances on quads. That could also be a viable option here as well. All right, cool. Let's have a look. So I did some extra additions to the materials in the character, and I'm actually gonna say I really like the way it looks already. So I don't know if I'm gonna go ahead and do some texturing directly in Blender, in Substance, but I'll keep that for another video because I do plan on making a proper video for that. So for the belt, what do you guys think of the actual render, by the way? I think it looks really cool. All right, cool. So I'm just gonna bring that up a little bit. Now for the belt, I'm gonna actually make it thicker so it hides the connections. So I'm gonna actually bring this up. Like that, and bring it outwards and make it really thick. They're instance meshes, so they're all done through geometry nodes. So they're not duplicated manually. They're done through Blender's geometry nodes system. All right, let's go ahead and do that. That's a big belt. All right, let's bring that down. Like so. Thank you. Why not put mirror before the geonodes modifier? Because if you want to mirror it properly, I don't want like the issue with the setup that I have here is that the direction of the scales is dependent on the normals of the object. So if the mirror is before the geometry nodes, it will mirror the normals and they'll go in the wrong direction. I think that's the logic, at least. Now, there we go. All right. So here, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a sculpt. See, this is the cool thing, how performant it is. And this is like hundreds of polys or thousands of polys, and it's able to be able to literally sculpt the shape. Oh wait, that's on that side. Literally sculpt the shape of the object. I forgot that this already has a mirror modifier on it too. Did I airbrush those abs? I sculpted them with my tablet. All right, let's have a look again at the render. That's looking pretty fucking cool. I'm really happy with that so far. I love the colors. So what I've done here, it's very similar to my tutorial, by the way, on creating like custom shaders. Same old ambient occlusion for the color onto a color ramp to get like the darker bits that are covered it up. And then mix that with a pointedness color ramp mix, and then a noise texture with a bump and going into roughness to get that variation. Same thing on the face, by the way. The face is a same sort of thing. Kid is growing well. Yes, she's very, very happy. I don't know if you hear the crying in the background though. She's trying to get to sleep. This is her sleeping time. Airbrush, just using a pen. All right, cool. So what's left? The only thing that's really left are the boots, I think, which is cool. Now, eventually, I might go ahead and apply these as actual geometry, but for now, I'll leave it as is. You can actually rig this, by the way, which is also cool because it's still based on a single mesh. So let's do the boots. And then I think we're going to be done after that. Yeah. Let's make sure that the scales are hidden away. All right. And now let's have a look and see what these boots look like. So it's got like these little rounded bits there on the side, like a really rounded bit there. And then we've got these horns, and then we've got this part here. So, and it pretty much goes up all the way up the leg. We also got these pants, I guess you can say. It looks like pants. I think they are. So we can add them as pants as well. Quick little modification, by the way. I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. No. Looks more comical when it's short. Yeah, for sure. We don't have any rockers that are battery operated, and she's too big for the rockers anymore. So she's just in a cot. We have a sound machine for her, though. A composition of what they use for animation, mandatory to learn. Yeah, it is. Also, coming up, I still editing the video. I'm sorry that I haven't published it yet, but just to give you a little preview of what to expect. I just want to show you something cool coming up. Hopefully, I'll get it done today. All right, I got like 95% of it done in terms of the edit. Um, we got this character coming up. So, as a little preview, I'll be talking about how I made this character. So, keep an eye out on YouTube because I go through it using the Blender base meshes. So, they're really cool. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. All right. It's really fun. The result was really cool. So, I can't wait to share it. All right, cool. So let's just close that off for now. And let's focus on the shoes. So we got these boots. I am tempted to do it with just basic shapes to begin with. And then I'll do a remesh. So let's go ahead and grab that. If you wonder what those sticks are, that's just the normals I was using. I was grabbing the normals for inspecting the mesh yesterday. All right, cool. So I'm going to bring this over here, scale this down. So let's see if I can actually fit the boots on there. So we got one shoe pit there. I could do it with the feet splayed out, I think. One there. I'm gonna bring it this way. So I'm gonna try and do the boots sort of going out this way. So in that case, I'm just gonna model it as is, and then I'll line it up with the leg. All right. So I got the sides there, and they are pretty booty, so they need to have a bit of room to breathe, like that. Let's add a. It's gonna look a little sus, but add a cylinder. Let's turn off the normals for now. Oops. Bring it down a little bit. Okay, cool. Scale that down a little bit, like so. On the like that. Aside from the price, do you see any advantages using open source tools in professional studio environment? Well, it depends on the kind of studio you're running, honestly. So if you're running a studio that doesn't have many staff, so you don't have many overheads, then the open source advantage is there. Whereas if you're going with something that is more or less like you need to have a really large pipeline, like you got like 20, 30 people working on the same project, Blender ain't exactly the best option for that. Don't worry, I'm not modeling a you know what, I'm modeling a shoe. All right, I'm modeling a shoe. I swear. All right. The first thing you want to do when you're trying to learn how to use the node editor for shading is to study what each kind of node means or what the principles of certain shading means. So like stuff like Fresnel, what is a Fresnel, or what is a raycast, those sort of things, and that will help you understand when you need to use them. And then once you know what they are, you can look them up when you're going to make your nodes, and you can then start to put together a cool shader. Actually, it's not. It's not easier to make custom builds add-on. It is easier to make custom builds on a software, but apparently, according to a lot of developers for add-ons for Blender, creating add-ons in Blender can be quite tricky because of the open source nature and because of the way it's designed. Apparently, it's difficult to code like UI for, like custom UIs for, which isn't what a lot of developers want to do, but it's not possible with the framework that Blender gives. All right, cool. So we got that. All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna grab this, set origin to geometry, origin to 3D cursor, sorry. And I'm gonna rotate this like that. Hopefully it will work out all right. Now the legs are looking pretty, I need to have the legs kind of come out, I think. All right, so I'm gonna bring these legs out. Oh, that's annoying. I might have to mirror that. All right, cool. So this ain't gonna mirror that easily. So I guess I just have to live with the crossover. Ah, it's a shame. Well, I can just try and do this and linear soft selection. So if you don't know, you can actually change the way the soft select works to be linear. That's looking pretty cool. So just so you know, I got the bottom selection there, and then just gonna move that over there. Now, I'm gonna keep note of this because it didn't mirror the way I want it to. I'm gonna do the same thing, but in the minus direction. And that should do the trick. My lazy ass method. All right, so location. I'm gonna apply that. I'm gonna to apply the. I don't want to apply the rotation actually, so I'm just gonna mirror it anyway. But I'm gonna mirror it across this empty. There we go. And now we have this going on, which is cool. All right, so let's get this up, and we can start to manipulate to sort of match. Assuming yeah. Goo engine is interesting because it's good for yeah, stylized work, but it does require you to understand how it all works as well. Okay, cool. I think we're on a good track. I'm gonna raise this up a little bit so I can actually give it some height, because it looks like the boots are pretty chunky. It does it? I have not played Splatoon, so I have no idea. All right. That's looking pretty sweet. Okay, so we got the feet on its way. Now, what do we need to do first? Before I remesh this, not that it really needs remeshing, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to extrude out the feet here, like so. So it's going to be Alt E, extrude along normals to get that going on. And you can see it looking pretty disgusting, the mesh. This is why I'm going to remesh it after all. So it's going to fill the holes so they're manifold. No, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just gonna go ahead and you can see how messy it is. Gonna go ahead and fill that. Now I'm not caring about the geometry just yet because I don't need to. All right, so I'm gonna grab these, and you can see I forgot to do the back of the feet. So set that to local. Extrude that out. What is your animation series about? It's a sort of sci-fi mystery. I guess you can say mystery adventure. That's the plan. So more revealed. I actually got a plan that I'm gonna announce for the end of the year. Try and get something done before the end of the year. Another episode. So my streams will mostly be about that going forward, filmmaking stuff. So yeah, hopefully it all works out. G'day, West Borland. Sorry if I don't see your messages that as quickly. The multi-stream sometimes the comments kind of fuck up sometimes. All right, cool. So with these feet, I'm gonna go ahead and move these across a little bit more. And then I'm gonna go ahead and move this forward to get that shape that I want. There we go. That looks a lot better. These are some interesting shoes, I gotta say. Interesting shoes indeed. I didn't design this, by the way. That comes from one of my patrons. So credit to where credit's due for this awesome artwork. His name is Nuclear. No, I'm getting mixed up now. I get sorry, I got mixed up. Nathan Jones. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you for the artwork. All right. Cool. Let's bring that up a little bit like that. And oh, what? I thought I fixed that. That's so annoying. Let's add a little bit more depth then. Let's just make it a bit chunky at the bottom there. And I'm gonna really bring these up. That looks cool. I like that. Something like this will look really pretty sweet. I think that works well. Good morning, Apollo. Appreciate joining me. Cool. So I think that's a good start point for our remesh. I don't know if I'll be able to do the actual sticky bits there, but actually, yes, we can. I'm gonna do, yeah, we can do that. We can do that indeed. All right, save that. Let's bring up those feet. Just a tad. That's cool. All right. I know, right? I didn't design the boots. They're like that. See? Look. um. Okay. Cool. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna grab this edge. 1, 2. Duplicate that. Extrude that down. Extrude that down. Like so. Move at center. like that. And then I'm just going to duplicate that a few times along here. Like so. Think harder. Then you'll understand why it's interesting. All right, cool. All right, cool. I didn't design it, just so you know. This is just a fantasy character. The boots are what they are. All right, cool. I think that will do. And I'll do a few more down here. Again, I'm not being too fancy about it. I just want to see if this works as well. All right, cool. I think that'll do. I can't be bothered doing this part here. Yes, I can. Of course I can. All right, so almost done. One, two. That'll do. I think that's a safe amount. All right, cool. So we got the boots there. Good heel support. Yep, that is right. Very good heel support. I'm going to add another ball there as well, I think. And just scale that one up. Not including the bottom though. Something like that will be fine. I think that looks good. Yep. Now it's less egregious, huh? All right, cool. All right, duplicate Y. Scale on X. Duplicate Y. Scale on X. Yeah. Safe for monster workplaces. Can be pretty tough out there. Scale X. Like that. I don't even have to do that anymore, do I? Classic. All right, cool. All right. It'll all come together once I remesh this, by the way. It's not the most interesting thing to look at, but magic will happen in a moment. All right, cool. Has any of you encountered a glitch where the sides are blacked out? I need help, please. I think that means your normals are flipped. All right, cool. So we got that. I'm going to remove the mirror for now. I'm going to go ahead and add a remesh. So we're going to remesh that. Bring down the detail. So it's all one piece. So we've got that nice sharp edges now. Like so. I'm going to go ahead and save that before I do this. I'm going to apply. And then I'm just going to quickly sculpt. I'm going to quickly sculpt out the bottom, the sides there to smooth them out a little bit. So I'm going to grab that, go to my sculpt mode, and just gently soften out the sides there. Yeah, I would. I normally would put on screencast keys, but I just I need to install it again. I always forget to turn it. I hate the fact that I can't turn it on by default. I wish it was just on by default, because I always forget to turn it on even during my tutorials. And it has a habit of like just not working sometimes as well. All right, cool. So there's our little bits and bobs all sorted. And now I do have my good question, Son. I do have the quad remesher because I'm gonna use it right now, actually. So it's awesome. So I'm gonna set that to around 1,000. Set up the adaptive size to like 100 or something high like that. And remesh. Now it's still thinking. Remeshing succeeded. There's my remesh. How good is that? That came out really good. Really, really good. All right. There's the remesh done. Let's shade smooth that. Shade smooth. And now we got our boot. So how cool is that? So I didn't even see it happen. It just happened. All right, cool. Now I can mirror that with the modifier. There's my boot. And it's not a bad amount of tollies. I mean, like obviously there it's a bit dense, but that's just the nature of the boot. And I can still edit it, of course. So I don't need all this stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and edit that a little bit more. Soft select turned on. Let's just get that in there like so. And I'm just going to extrude that down with normal extrusion. That didn't really work out, but that's okay. Ah, soft select turned off. There we go. And there we have our boot. At least the base of that boot, which is really cool. So now I also realized that the legs are a lot shorter in this character, but I think it's fine. All right, cool. All right, I'm just gonna take a second to see how the baby's going. Just give me 1 minute and I'll be back. All right, just give me 1 moment. All right, here we go. We'll see how we go. I may have to cut this one short. She's teething, so it can be a bit tricky getting her to sleep. Cool. So we have this going on. Now let's go ahead and add the little plates that go along here. So I might be able to actually use these parts here to help me build out those plates. So I got these plates 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, and 3 there. So I'm actually going to grab these. By the way, if everyone can hear me, that's great. I had to turn off my mic just for a second. All right, cool. Let's grab those selections there. Just like this. I'm going to duplicate that. And I'm going to extrude, like just sort of scale that out with the normals, separate that from selection. And then I'm going to add a solidify. Oh, wrong one to add a solidify to. Want this one. There we go. Now I think my selection there isn't perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean that up. There we go, it looks better. I'm just going to push it all the way down. Like so. And I might turn on auto smooth for that. And now we have these nice kneecap things. Cool. All right, cool. So we got that going on. Let's have a look and see how that looks in render. Ah. Not bad. All right, cool. I'm gonna add some pants to this guy because it looks a bit weird without pants. That's coming up good. All right. So for these panels, same sort of thing. Let's grab these. The reason I'm grabbing the same geometry, by the way, is so that if I do end up wanting to rig this, for instance, the amount of geometry is going to be very similar across the breadth of the foot. All right. All right, cool. Gonna grab that, delete those, don't need that. Still tips, yeah, safe for work. All right. So I'm actually at a split there. Right there. And then let's keep going. A bit weird, bigger. Solidify as well. So I'm just going to copy the same properties from this one. And then shade auto smooth. There we go. Cool. And I could add a bevel on that if I wanted to as well. So if I could add that, I can add a bevel. And then just sort of bring that down a little bit to give it some roundness. Cool. Now, I would normally put the mirror, in this case, on the bottom, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. That time of night again, as in it's just late. All right. last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and add this panel here. There we go. Duplicate, offset, and then separate. I'm going to copy the features from this one. There we go. And then I'm just going to edit this one to suit the sketch. All right, so this one has a little bit of a pointy bit on top. I'm going to extrude out this part here. Like that. Hey Dico, good to see you again. Question, I still feel like there's so much to learn and get better at, and nothing is good enough. Ever feel this way? Yeah, I feel this way all the time. There's always something new to learn. For me, it's like right now, it's like I should be learning like all kinds of stuff, like at least geometry nodes. I need to practice my animation skills all the time. The only thing that keeps me from going is, well, one, I need to get paid. I need to make a living off it, and two, it's part of the process. Part of the fun is learning new stuff. So I don't get discouraged because I can't do something. I get encouraged because I don't know how to do it, honestly. I find it satisfying when I learn new things. The only problem, of course, is that things are changing so quickly, it's hard to keep up. Is it the journal that counts? I'm not sure what you mean. All right, cool. Not the best geometry, but it does a job. In this case, not bad. I can live with that. And it's kind of wonky and fun anyway. So what I might do here is add a little bit of a cleft. Or I might just extrude. Will that work? That's gonna look pretty ugly. Yeah, no. I'm just gonna leave it as is. All right, cool. Let's add a little bit of a subdivision to that one, I think. No? Yeah, a bit ugly. Nah, screw it. It's fine the way it is. What I might do here, though, I might just do an inset. Just to give it a little bit more structure. Just a little bit. Will that work? That's looking pretty horrible. In the solidify, let's go with even thickness. No. All right, that doesn't matter. Let's just undo that. And we will live with the crappy geometry for this. And we'll bring down the solidify just a little bit. There we go. Looking cool. All right. Next to add is a little straps and little horns. And then I think we're done with that. So straps. Let's see what we can use here. Let's go with that. I'm going to add a solidify. Shade smooth. There we go. And then we're going to smooth that out a little bit like that. And that will do for my little strappy bits. Duplicate down. Duplicate down. There we go. One like that. One like that. I think that'll do. What do you guys think? What way do you access Blender? Microsoft, Steam. Well, you should download directly, because I think the Steam version is a real pain in the bum to work with anyway. Because you still need Steam to run it, which is ridiculous. Goes against the whole point of having free open source software, wrapping it inside of a proprietary software. And as for the administrator stuff, I think you just have to find someone who can give you administration rights to change it. Are you using it at school? Yeah, the thing about like learning 3D is just really about like mitigating your goals. So your goals should be realistic, and your ultimate goal should be like the thing that you want to get to. So if you want to make a short film or a character of a certain style, you should look into tutorials on little chunks about how you can achieve certain things. And sometimes it's not it's just simpler than you think. You don't have to put the kind of detail that you'd expect into something to make it look good. And it sounds weird. You might just need to delete the whole thing and go through the preferences and just delete all the preferences that are being saved. By the way, this is your normal. This is the classic example of the normals flipping. If I see how the normals are flipped, Control N will fix it. All right, cool. There we go. Shoes are almost done. Scale X -1. Rotate. Okay, sweet. There we go. Straps are in. Let's see how that's looking. So all of this has been done with just basic geometry. What is the best method to export a character with hair or fur to Unity for video games? I discovered called hair cards. That's basically the only way. You can't really export any other way. You can't export simulated hair. You can't export curves. Really, it will be converted to a mesh if that's the case. All right, cool. So we have all of that going on. I think we're on our way to finishing up this model. Let's go ahead and add a little thickness there. I noticed that there's a bit of metallic bits as well over here. So I'm just going to duplicate that and then scale outwards. I'm going to separate that selection, and then I'm going to solidify that as well. And then we'll add auto smooth. There we go. Looking good so far. Looking good so far. Not bad. Yeah, yeah. He's much more scratched over here as well. That is true. So I will see if I can, in the next hour or next half hour, see how we can get this to be rigged. So we'll see. No idea how well it will actually perform though. Okay. Also, let's see. So, let's get the horns in there. Like so. Apply the rotation. Not yet. I'm going to apply the scale at least. Thank you for the description. All right, cool. See how the scale has been, the normals have been flipped there? You can tell with that weird shading. That fixes it. Control, Shift N will fix that. So what I'm going to do is just do a weird extrusion. And then just scale down. And there we go. I might add a little bit of a bevel there to smooth out that. I might actually keep it tight, actually. That was kind of cool. And then I'm going to delete the back of the circle. There we go. That looks cool. I like that little horn. I'm going to go ahead and mirror that as well. There we go. And then we're going to add another one on the side. So that goes on the side over here. Cool. Looking cool, huh? Yeah, rigging might be spicy. We'll see. I'm going to use the basic. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to do a basic rig for this one. Just using the meta rig and then adapting it. Cool. What else is there? I think it's just the pants that are left. And I'll add a little bit of a ring here. That work? It did work. It just has been subdivided. Let's just go ahead and do this. This is definitely not game ready, by the way. This is definitely the opposite of that. Very much not game friendly. All right, cool. All right, there we go. I think that's looking pretty. I think that's done. I think that's done. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So let's go and add some materials to this thing. So firstly, I might just adapt from. I'm gonna adapt from this here. So in case you didn't know, this can actually be dragged and dropped. So if I grab the scale material, where is it? Here, and drag it onto here, it actually transfers across. So what I'm gonna do is copy that. And it's looking pretty cool. Is I'm going to make a new material there. I'm going to save that. And then inside the shader editor, I'm going to change the colors a little bit. Cool. I think it should itself. Almost should itself. All right, cool. So over here, I'm going to give it a little color change. And change this color a little bit as well. There we go. That looks pretty cool. Pretty close. And then again, I'm going to copy this to this material here, but I'm going to give it a new material number and then change the color again, so it's a bit less and a bit more metallic. So I'm going to bring up the metallic here. And bring up the brightness on that as well over here. There we go. Looking pretty cool. And then all of these other bits will have the same one. 1, 2, 3. And one more over here. Panel here. Boom. This is the nice thing about doing it all in Blender as well, is that the adaptability of the materials are really cool. And you can just play with the different scales to get this sort of effect. And I haven't even unwrapped these, by the way. It's just box projection. Cool. All right. I might do the same thing with the belt. I'm going to move this material onto the belt as well. And this one over here onto the belt as well. That looks pretty cool. And I'm wondering if I should add a new material for the base of the foot. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new material, slot, save this. And I just want to select the, it's going to be tricky. I'm going to select just the part of the bottom of the foot. See how it spirals? That's the other thing about remeshing, is that the spirals just go everywhere. So you got to be really careful about that when you remesh something. This is the reason why you don't want to have spirals, by the way, just because selecting things is a pain. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to go to C, select everything on the bottom. And then I'm just going to go plus, 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 plus. Control plus, that is. And then I'll just quickly remove the parts that I don't want. Not the cleanest way, but when you have a remeshed object like this, you kind of have no option. No other option, rather. All right. Like that. That'll do. I think I'm going to keep it like that. Make a new slot, assign. So you'll see that now the bottom base doesn't have anything. So what I'm going to do is give it the same material 11, but then I'm going to duplicate it. And then duplicate the number, and then change the color. There we go. That looks cool. So now that has a different looking feel to it. And there we go. Shoes complete. All right. What do you guys think so far? I don't even know how well this is going to render, by the way. There's a bunch of stuff that is still turned on as a render. Okay, that's good. Making sure that everything that I don't need to render is turned off. All right, cool. Okay, we're almost there. So what I want to do now is also, I'm also going to add a quick little, I'm going to apply this one. And then I'm going to apply this one. And then here, does it work? I don't know if it will. Add a shape key. Yeah, it will. In the base mesh, I want to get this eye looking bigger. like that, like that. So I can do this. I'm gonna grab these two. That looks that looks more like it. I just wanted to get that going on there with the different eye sizes. And with the eyes, I might add same sort of thing as this. Grab this. Grab this. But in this case, it's going to be white or slightly yellow. And this one will be a little bit red. There we go. Now he looks a little bit more fatigued. And it's got a green undertone actually, so I might actually make that green. And now that looks a lot more settled and a bit more glassy. I'm gonna do the same thing over here with the lips. Except I'll make them pink. Yeah, that was cool. All right, cool. Looking pretty sweet so far, I reckon. I think my multi-stream just died again, so sorry if I didn't respond to any stuff. Let's go to the yeah, cool, awesome. Okay, cool. So with that in mind, all I gotta do now is the where do you send the what? Complicate. Where do we send you complicated characters to do? Discord through Patreon. So if you join Patreon, I try to do a monthly challenge where I do this sort of thing. So yeah, if you want to join in, it's a random thing, by the way. It's not like it's randomly assigned. So if 10 people sign up, do it or join in, then I pull the names out of a hat. If that makes sense. Just refining this a little bit. All right, cool. That looks a lot better. All right. Yeah, I find it fun. It's really fun, and it's a great way for me to sort of challenge myself as well. All right, cool. So I think we're practically done, apart from a few straps here and there. So what I might do is quickly get those straps done. I'm not going to bother about the buckles. Oh, I can. I can just grab this donut here. Bring it up here. One buckle. One buckle here. One buckle here. And actually, this will be a really great way of hiding the the crappy chainmail part. Let's do a bigger one there. All right, cool. So got that going on. Now let's add the the straps. All right, cool. Just a quick mesh. In this case, I might actually make it look like it's strapped in. Like that. There we go. I'm not going to subdivide this, but I am going to just give it some softness. Like that. There we go. You can solidify that. And we can give it a bevel. And there we go. We got a little strap there. That looks cool. So I can probably use the boot. Let's see if I can use this boot material. I'm going to duplicate that. And change the color. Yeah, that looks cool. Yep, that looks super nice. And I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. And place it over here. All right, cool. We're on our way. Have a good night, man. Appreciate it. Friday I will be Friday I will as in Friday you'll pay and enter. Oh yeah, cool. So you can join the Patreon. Yeah, sweet. I'm also thinking about opening up memberships on YouTube, so so that might be happening soon as well. So if you want to do that instead, that might be a thing as well. Just keep that in mind. All right, cool. Have a good night, man. That's looking really cool. Okay, cool. I actually might put that same material on this belt here. Yeah, that looks so much nicer. All right, last but not least, let's add the, I actually might leave this later. Let's add the pants. All right, so I dare you stay in the leftmost viewport shading for more than 1 minute. Yeah, I could, but it's when you're working quickly, you gotta like just check and then move on. All right, so let's go ahead and add some pants. So at the bottom here, I don't need to have them connected, by the way. I'm going to delete those. And that will make this a much easier endeavor. Go all the way up until we get to around there. To include the pants. Duplicate. P to separate. And now we can get rid of the multi-res. Got ourselves some pants. And now what I'm going to do is add a new multi-res and then sculpt in some detail. But first, we need to change the material. So the material is no longer going to have any subsurface because it's pants. And I change the color. To something kind of like that. There we go. Bring down the saturation. I might keep the green actually. Oh, maybe. All right, cool. So with that being said, let's add our multi-res. I'll get rid of that collision as well. I don't need it anymore. All right, let's get some pants action going on. Let's smooth that out so it's covered up. There we go. Smooth this out. Oops. All right, cool. I'm not too worried about the back because I'm not going to really show it. So let's just do some cool cloth brush stuff. Hopefully it's performant enough. So what I'm going to do is just see how we go. Will that work? Yeah, it's a bit slow. Let's just do it with a rake. I think that's how it works. Let's try that one out. Brush stroke, stroke method. Let's just see if that works. That's what I want. Kind of worked. It's a bit slow. I just want it to be less. Let's see. Local, dynamic. Let's try that. Global. Ah, it's not perfect. If it doesn't work too well, I'll just do it manually. Screw it. Just do it manually. New video soon? Yes. New video hopefully it's this afternoon, this evening, if I can get it working well. I'm just editing the video now. Been editing it for like 3 days now. It's been ridiculous. Actually, been editing it for longer than that, but I'm hoping it will get done this afternoon. When you can't be bothered dealing with the performance issues of certain things like simulating cloth, just estimate it and then smooth it out. And then sort of soften. Oops. There we go. Cool. So I actually have cloth brushes, but I haven't installed them. Let's just give this guy a wedgie, huh? There we go, that looks better. Okay, let's do a little bit here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then soften. There we go. That looks pretty cool. And I can actually just grab this to give it a little bit of a cleft. There we go. Bit of a sculpted feel to it, which is cool. I actually like the sculpted look when it comes to stylized characters. All right. I think that should do the trick. Yeah, that looks all right. What do you guys think? I think it looks pretty cool too. All right. Let's see how it looks in render. That looks pretty cool. That looks cool. It matches the colors really well too. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. All right, I think we're done. I'm not going to bother with these little armor bits here and there. I could probably add a little bit of a I could like duplicate this for instance and then do a sort of kneecap thing. That could work as a little stopgap instead. Which could actually work in its favor. I think it looks kind of cool actually. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's just make sure that they're nicely in place. The only problem is that when I rig this, it's going to be a bitch. So I'll keep it as a sort of idea, and then I'll add them manually later. All right, cool. So with that in mind, I think we're ready to get this kind of posed out. Now, bear in mind that all this stuff is still technically based on a mesh, so I can actually add an armature at the top here, and it will still work. Same with all of this stuff here. The only difference that I'm going to do with the mesh is with the rig that I'm going to use is get rid of the hands and just have that. So what I'm going to do is reset my location. And I'm not going to do anything fancy with the rig for this one. It's just going to pose. Okay, I can close this one out as well. Save, save, save. All right, let's add a basic quadruped, I reckon. Oh, what happened there? Oh wait, not quadruped. I want a human. Sorry, human. A very basic human one. Let's set this to in front. Man, the proportions actually worked out really well. Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Cheers. So there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and apply the scale. And I'm just gonna bring this up here. And I'm gonna grab the cursor and rotate these. Actually, I'm actually gonna delete those. Actually, delete. I'm gonna delete this one and delete this one. Oh shit! Let's turn on mirroring first. Delete, and then I'm just gonna bring that like that, like so. And then I'm gonna subdivide that. But I'm not just gonna subdivide it. I'm gonna subdivide it in chunks, because what you want to have to give it sort of that sort of tail look is that you need to have each bone be slightly shorter than the next bone down the line. And that's how you get a nice sort of deformation in the arms. And these will all be bendy bones. So I'm just going to add a bunch of bendy bones to that. They all have their bendy bones. Good. Great. And as for these, just going to place them into the rig. Like I said, I'm going to keep it real simple. I'm not even going to like generate the meta rig. I'm just going to literally rig it to this. Because it's a very complicated little character, and I don't think I'd have time to do a full-on rig for this one. All right, cool. So we got that going on. I think that will work well. Hopefully we don't get any weird blending there, but you never know. One, two. Ah. Let's bring the legs down a little bit. Oh, that was horrible. Down like that. And down like that. I think we should be right for the rest of it. Yeah, I think the rest would be fine. All right, so part of this will be rigged, part of it won't. But it will all work out in the end. So to make this a little easier for me to do, I'm going to go down to simplify and just turn off all the subdivisions for everything. And I'm going to temporarily turn off the modifiers for the geometry nodes. All right, cool. So I have no idea how well this is going to animate, like actually rig. All right. For these tentacles, we need to actually convert them to a mesh to work. So let's go ahead and do that. That should be good. Yep. That should be good. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and save this as a new version. And the cool thing about, like, once you've converted the geometry nodes, you could go ahead and technically sort of refine the mesh. Don't know why it's not inflating. Let's have a look here. Face orientation. So you can see here that I've accidentally flipped the normals. There we go. So you could go ahead and just sort of refine things and give it a little bit of a once over. Add a few bits and bobs here. Fix things up here and there as well. All right, cool. Bro, I'm a big fan of great. Thanks. Thanks. No worries. My pleasure. Cool. Okay, I think we're good. I might actually join all these together to make it easier to skin. Cool. Cool. There we go. Awesome. All right, cool. So we got that up and running. Everything is as low as poly. Now let's go ahead and try and do a quick dirty skin. So also, let's see if I can delete. That's good. That's good. Let's apply the mirror there. This is the other thing about this sort of stuff, is that you gotta actually start to look through your meshes and start to think about what you need to mirror, what you need to apply. So I need to apply the mirror there, to apply the mirror there, apply the mirror here. That's fine. That's fine. Apply the mirror here. I think that's all good. That's all good. I can delete the collision in there. And I think everything else has been done. Yeah. All right, cool. So let's just go ahead and see what can happen if I go ahead and just automatically weight everything except these skulls and this plate. So what I'm going to do is go to P, empty groups for now. And I'm going to use the mesh, voxelized mesh add-on that I have to do the thing. That way they'll all get weighted to the same sort of area. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to decrease the influence bones to 4, resolution to 256. Save the thing just in case. And then let it do its thing. So it takes a little bit longer to rig, but it should work a little bit better. The only difference is that the feet are probably going to be a bit screwy. Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. But the cool thing about this is that now, if I turn on individual origins, not too bad. Not sure why this one's looking a little bit shit. But we can fix that. Oh, right, the bones are completely out. Okay. That makes sense. Let's go ahead and fix that up. Like that. I can give him a beak, maybe. Let's get rid of this bone here, or just move it a little bit to the side here. Like that. That should help avoid that intersection. It's going to test to see how this one's looking. Not bad. That's looking really good. I actually might include the plate on this one. And everything except the skulls. And I might actually bring back the knee plates too. Fuck it. Let's try again. That's true. They do have beaks, but this is not meant to be an octopus. It's some weird gurkhin, man. All right, cool. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. So all I'm going to do is quickly weight paint this guy. To be non-influenced. And let's turn off in the tool settings. We want to turn off normalize weights. Auto normalize, yes. Turn that off. There we go. That's looking good. And we want to increase the weight on that to be like that. And that should fix that problem. And now if we grab this toe, this one instead. That one's good. Yep. Oh, it's all good now. All right, cool. So now, here's a little trick, by the way. This is one of the coolest things about Blender, by the way, is the auto IK. So you can actually kind of play with the IK a little bit, which is super cool. All right, so what I'm going to do is just get this guy posed up and just test to see the arms are working now. Yep, they're working a lot better. Yeah, if you post it on somewhere on or share it, I'm happy to give a little bit of feedback. I don't really do portfolio reviews as such, but I'm happy to have a look and see what people make. All right, cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just pose this guy out now. Did I miss something? I missed the one of these. I forgot to add one thing, but I can actually just automatically weight that one. All right, cool. Let's pose this person up. Oh, that didn't work. Okay. Let's try that again. Um, just do that. Yeah, probably. But for this one, it's just a concept piece, so I'm not too fussed. And it's all for good fun anyway. Ooh, it's gonna hang. I think it froze. I probably should have turned off the geometry nodes. No, no, it worked. All right, cool. Ah, fuck it. Why don't you want to work? Probably because the mirror modifier. Maybe. But this one has a mirror modifier on it too, so. Ah, because rotations. I think that's why. That's all right. I'm going to hide this one away. And let's just pose him up to match the picture. So I'm just going to sort of do it manually, I guess you can say. I'm really curious to see how the feet work. Not too bad, actually. Ah, let me look at that. There we go. Like so. Torso is going to be bent a little bit forward. Head's going to be up like this. Ah, I forgot to rig that too. That's all right. Let's just get a little bit of a twist in there. That looks funny. All right, cool. So I'm gonna bring that down a little bit. And then I'm gonna just sort of rotate these up. I think that's really, I think that looks pretty cool. I don't know what you guys think, but I think it looks pretty cool. All right, cool. Let's turn off. Let's turn on the geometry nodes again. Now I don't know how well this is going to turn out with all the simplify turned off, but let's have a look. Surprisingly good. Wow. Okay. How cool is it that this thing actually, and like the geometry nodes actually works with the armature as well. It's so cool. Ah, that's why the armature needs to sit above the geometry nodes to work. So let's just quickly go ahead and turn on the render preview. Turn off that. How cool is that? That's so cool. I love it. All right, so for this, I'm just going to quickly convert it to a mesh and then just skin it to this. There we go, that works. That came out way better than I had expected, honestly. All right, so for the deer heads, I'm gonna quickly go to rest position, and I'll see if this works. I'm not sure if it will. I'm gonna separate one side, and I'm just gonna add a constraint. So constraint to the shoulders. Copy transforms. Actually, no, child of. Sorry, child of. And we're gonna go with shoulder. L. Set inverse. Child of. Shoulder right. Set inverse. And if we're lucky, they will work. And they do. Did you use auto rig tool? No, no auto rig. Parenting can work, but the thing about the constraint is that it can work. It gives you a bit more flexibility. All right, I think that looks really cool. That looks awesome. I think I'm good. I think I'm done with that. What do you guys think? I think it looks sick. All right, let's give it some extra lighting, and then we're done. And let's bring this in as this area light. Oh, that's so cool. And then I'm gonna get this light here, make it blue. But yes, will you look over the vid on of your own on stream? Oh, probably on my own because I'm gonna wrap up in about 10 minutes. Yeah, the foot position needs some work so I can get the right sort of. I want to see it. Oh shit! Let's turn off the mirror. Let's turn off pose mirroring because I want to see that. Yeah, that looks better. That looks better, don't you reckon? Oh, that looks much better. Yeah. There we go. That looks better. Well, I can always look at it on Monday live stream if you want to check it. If you're gonna come back on Monday, I can do that. Have a quick squeeze. All right, let's get the camera in view. And see how it looks without any distractions. Damn, that looks awesome. uh, more hunched in the drawing. That's true. I can probably hunch it further. There we go. I think that will do it. All right, cool. So let's add a backdrop. And we'll wrap it up. All right, cool. Actually, sorry, one last thing. Let's just do like that. There we go. I'm just going to delete this part here so I can add a bevel. View 0. 3D cursor. There we go. Cool. I'm just going to add a little bit of a bevel. Like that. There we go. That might be the case. All right, so I'm just going to add a subdivision to that. And then let's add a color. What color should the backdrop be? I reckon that looks cool. Let's make it metallic. And a little bit of roughness. Give it a little bit of something. This is what I did with the other one that I rendered yesterday as well. I think that looks really cool. All right, let's add an area light just to fill up the face a little bit. That looks sick. All right. I'm really happy with that. It's all done today. Did all the boots today, honestly. So if you want to check out the boots, that's all there. All right. So I think I'm going to render this out now and give it a little bit of something. So let's just do a quick 1 minute render. Let's set the time limit to 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. And let's turn on, I think everything else should be fine. I think what we can do, yeah, I think that's all good. Let's have a look and see if I have to turn on any passes. I don't think so, but I'll turn on ambient occlusion just in case. And that's it. All right, cool. I just want to do a quick little color grade. That's all. My decimate is still, it still looks cool anyway. I'm gonna leave it as is. Fuck it. Oh, there's two skulls. Ah, shit. I gotta turn one off. There's one just lying there. So where's the other one that's turned on? Maybe inside the body? There's a duplicate here somewhere. Alt H. Where are you? Where the fuck are you? That's the one. I think. Yep. Let's try that now. Here we go. Cool. Yeah. I like his little tentacles. They actually came up pretty good. I like the actual, the fact that they kind of look a little bit different on each side. It's not perfect. There's a bit here and there, but I think overall it looks really cool. I like the fact that his eyes are all squishy. It actually look pretty cool as a figurine, I reckon. And the skulls come up really good too. But yeah, none of the materials are actual textures. It's all procedural, which is also really sweet. So I got 25 seconds before this does, and then it's going to do a denoise pass, and then we can add a little bit, just a little bit of something at the end. I might do a square composition as well once I wrap up the stream. Yeah, I like the lighting too. The subsurf scattering doing its job. That looks awesome. Okay, render's done. Let's just do a quick little addition. I just want to do one little addition before I wrap up. So I'm going to go to my compositor, use nodes. Let's just go to image editor. Look at the render result. There it is there. I like to add a little bit of, just a little bit of lens distortion. It doesn't need much either. There we go. Awesome. And I can do a slight color balance. Put some blues into those shadows, and like, see how much the color balance does to enhance the image, by the way. Like, there's a before, and there's the after. I'm gonna make a video about that in the future as well, sort of like what to look out for when you finish up your renders. So yeah, there we go. That's all done. I think it looks sick. All right. Well, I gotta wrap it up. It's 11 o'clock. Thank you for joining. It's been really cool. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I definitely enjoyed this process today. Yeah, it does look cleaner. All right, well, I'll let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy your evenings, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Also, look out for a new video that's going to drop either tonight or tomorrow. All right, I'll catch you guys later.